Please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Boa Construction, Noza.
Good morning. Thank you, Ms. Velasquez. Thank you for that warm introduction. Sometimes when it gets read, realize, wow, we have done a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jackie, for the phone call to ask me to be the keynote speaker. Really appreciate that as well. And I'd also like to thank Mayor Lightfoot for everything that she's doing in her leadership in the city. And thank everyone else as well for being here. These are moments where you get an opportunity to meet other businesses, meet organizations and agencies, and get to talk about what you do and what you enjoy. So, and then get ready here, join this ride with me as I share a little bit about who I am and who we've become today. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, how to go through it, how to work around it. Many of you, if you've been in this city as long as I have, you know that was Michael Jordan's quote. And one of the quotes that I always remind myself of just about every day: be great, be brave, be legendary, be relentless. Anyone that knows me would tell you that I'm fearless. I love to take risks, and I'm partially crazy. Okay, not that crazy, but crazy enough to leave my lucrative corporate job at 28 years old with a new baby girl and a growing family and a rising list of responsibilities. My wife definitely thought I was crazy. Yeah, but that's the type of crazy. It's not a bad crazy. It's a good crazy. It's a crazy that's built into the DNA of entrepreneurs everywhere. See, we're the ones who, when the pandemic hit in 2020, we were in our offices figuring out how to keep our employees working, how to keep them safe. Some of us started selling sanitizer like it was liquid gold. Face masks, whatever we can get our hands on. We're the ones who look at the economic problems in our community and believe that our business is the solution. We seek opportunities from what most people look at as problems. We're the ones that when everyone says you're crazy and you can't get something done, it won't work, it can't be done, we just say, yeah, just watch me do it. Or like DJ Khaled said, you either win with us or watch us win. See, we're a rare breed. And I love hip hop. Hip hop gets me going in the morning. Jay-Z said it best, right? Everybody's bosses till it's time to pack for the office, until them invoices separate the men from the boys. We know the cost of the office, the staff, insurance, bonding, equipment, whatever cost that falls on the APs for that month, we know what it takes to get it paid. And sometimes we have no idea how we're gonna come up with the cash to make it or to pay those bills. But we embrace it because we know the journey we're on and we're not deterred by the challenges. And so with that, it's still the case for me. I am Nosa Collins Ehirima, President and CEO of Boa Construction. And my name, from their Edo language in Nigeria, means whatever God says is the truth. And the truth is that entrepreneurship is not easy. The truth is that entrepreneurship in Chicago is not easy. The truth is that entrepreneurship in Chicago in construction is not easy, and it's not for the faint at heart. It can be brutal, and at times you will rethink the decision you made. And then other days you will revel in the challenges and continue to build because you know what you're doing is bigger than just today. It's about legacy. It's about the next generation. It's about jobs for people in our community that have never had the access, and we can create that. And the real truth is if you set a plan, do the research, build the relationships, put in the work, it'll pay off. It would also require you to be humble, brave, resilient, to have swag, and to ask for help, all at the same time. It's challenging, and at times you will second guess yourself, but just know it's a balance of being confident, strong about what you're building, how you're building it, but then knowing when you need to call for help, pick up that phone, because you know failing is not an option. So make that call. But it's a skill set that develops over time. But always be humble and remember the top of your mountain is probably the bottom of someone else's. So keep working and keep grinding. And we've all heard the saying that if you can make it in New York, then you can make it anywhere. Well, I have to politely disagree with that notion. See, I believe when you do it in Chicago, Chi-Town, City of Big Shoulders, the Windy City, oh, you know you can do it anywhere. Working in this city teaches you grit. You'll be able to take on any challenge that comes your way. In this city, we stand on the shoulders of greats like Harold Washington, Ida B. Wells, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Bessie Coleman, Floyd Clements, Rufus Taylor, Gene Baker. Oh, and this gentleman, y'all know, President Barack Obama, and his brilliant wife, Michelle. Yes, I had to pay homage to the Queen. Now, I'm only going to name a few, because the list can go on and on. But when you hear those names, and as an African-American male, a businessman, and a Chicagoan, it's important to remember, as we navigate the waters of doing business in this city, when you hear those names, it motivates you. It lets you know that we're bound to do great things. And if we don't, it's okay. Let's just try our hardest to, though. As I mentioned earlier, my journey as an entrepreneur in this industry started early at 28 years old. It was in 2008 in DC, and then President Obama inauguration, I decided that I would leave my employer and start my own construction firm. I saw an opportunity in the industry, and I knew that I could bring a business approach that could shake things up in the marketplace and disrupt the way things have been done for decades. That was the swagger I mentioned earlier. So I sat down, got to work, while working a full-time job, building a luxury retail store in DC during the day, and working on my business plan at night. I began to lay the foundation, and that is the work I mentioned earlier. See, you heard it earlier. I'm the son of two immigrants. My parents came to this country with nothing. My dad came with one bag and a soccer ball. They couldn't write a check for me to start my business. He drove a taxi, and my mother was a CNA. So, see, I had to figure it out. So I cashed in my savings and took a risk on myself. And I remember telling my uncle, I think he's out here somewhere, and I told him my plan. And he was one of the few people in the world that didn't tell me I was crazy. But he told me to move forward and he would have my back in whatever I needed to do. But here are some of the tips, as I call it, tips to the game in terms of, my tips and things that I worked on as I was building my business. 1, study. Be a student of your craft and understand the metrics that make your business successful. And even when you get your business off the ground, keep studying. I still find time to study today. It's why I went back to school and got my MBA. Because I never wanted to walk in a room and feel like I wasn't supposed to have a seat at that table. So you eliminate those excuses or those barriers. and you should know everything about your business. If you're just focusing on a specific sector or trade, then you know every piece of that business, every single piece of that trade. Know your competition. Know the projects that are coming up. Know your clients. Do the work. Establish a strong foundation and continue to build on that. Focus on being a real business, not just what you see on social media. Real business requires doing the work. I can't even count the number of nights I slept in my office while I was building my business years ago. One of the things to also remember is don't worry about what others are saying or what others are doing. Focus on you. Remember that MBE certification is not the reason you're in business. Your business services is why you're in business. Don't get stuck and get pigeonholed on being a WBE or MBE or SBE business. Be a business first. Establish your circle of trust. This includes friends who will listen when you need them to vent, and a group of trusted advisors who are versed in your business and know how things move in the city. And also have the experience in navigating the market that you're getting into, like this event. It's a great place to meet people and the network. Make sure these people have the influence and the affluence, and they don't really need anything from you. They truly want to see you win. Now, make sure some of the people in your circle, they're maybe at the same level, and that's okay, but don't be afraid to create a network of people around you that know more than you. Tap into their wisdom. It will take you farther than you can go alone. Trust me. I had advisors like Demetrius Carney, Joan Archie, Don Bernanke, Peter Forker, Guion Foreman, Mr. Billy Parker, my dad, and many others. 4, and this is important because it's one of the challenges that we have in our community. And it's because of decades of lack of investment. And as we know, some of the systemic racism and things that happen in our society, and we're getting past that, we're growing from that. But build your balance sheet. And you hear that, you're like, wait, we're doing that. But be fiscally responsible, and as an example, I didn't take a salary for the first 3 years of my business. And that's another example of investing in yourself and investing in your business. And we know bonding has always been a barrier in our industry. It cripples good businesses. But build financial forecasts and models that drive the profitability and performance on your projects. Manage the work in the beginning. Don't be quick to be a boss. I'm gonna say that again. Don't be so quick to be a boss. Get into the weeds of your business. Protect your baby. You'll get that opportunity to be that boss. But get in the trenches, it's very important. I started off small. For 6 to 7 years, no one knew or even heard of Bower Construction, nor did they even care. We had 2 clients, maybe 3, for years, but we focused on just delivering for them. Remember, in business, it's a marathon, not a sprint. 5, people, people, people. Hiring good people is probably the hardest thing that you would do in business. But find people that not only perform well and are intelligent, but find people that believe in your vision, that believe in your mission. Give people an opportunity outside of what their resume says. In the beginning, you're not going to be able to find or hire people that all have Big 10 degrees. They're most likely going to go work for the larger companies. But you can turn a rock into a diamond and build trust and loyalty from those employees. But it's going to take some risk, and those people will know you're taking a risk on them, and they will work their damnness for you. 6, fight like hell for what you're creating. When you've built something solid, Not everyone wants to see you win, and that's okay. Look at the Super Bowl as an example. There was a lot of folks rooting for the Eagles, right? Kansas City won too many championships. That's life. Understand, when you build and you break barriers, you hire folks in the community, you can become a target. But use that as motivation, because that means you're doing something right. And don't get complacent with those wins, though. Get fired up. Remember those losses. Remember the days when it was just you in the office at 11, 12 p.m., 1 a.m. That's what's going to make your business great. And in fact, it even makes you harder, makes you work harder and tougher as you set new goals. So no matter who's waiting for you to fail or who's waiting for you to stumble, it don't really matter, because you're constantly setting new goals. You know, and the last thing that I will mention here as well, as you build, give back. Give back to the community that's given you so much. When you take that elevator up, send it back down so others can grow, and your legacy that you really want to leave and the generations coming behind us, they understand what we're really building. And what we can do in our community is really break these barriers so they never exist again. It's why my wife and I started BOA Gives, a foundation that connects with youth through sport and education. And as a former Big Ten All-American, sport changed my life. So why not change some other kid's life? And we use that organization to train and provide opportunities for the youth. One of the, you know, when I find myself in challenging moments as a business owner, starting from ground zero into where we are today, know to all of the business owners that are out here, whether you're small or just starting out or you're scaling to be larger, be relentless in everything that you do, especially when it's your baby. Starting a business is literally challenging. And let's be honest, we know the barriers exist in this industry. They've been here for decades. And we all know how they were built. And many of us have developed a formula to knock down these barriers and create opportunities for everyone in our community. But I look around. Look at this room. It's inspiring. I'm inspired by what we're doing in our industry today and what the future holds for all of us tomorrow. If you're just starting out in business or just have an idea, it's okay to be nervous and scared. If you've been in business for a while, and as I said, as you're scaling and you want to go to other markets, new cities, and really blow up your business, the same principles apply. You must do the work. I'm driven, and my DNA is wired as an athlete, and some principles that are just connected literally every little inch of my body. I've never won a championship or a title watching other people practice or do the work. Build your plan, set your goals, and for crying out loud, believe in yourself. I will end with how I started. Be great, be brave, be legendary, and be relentless. Thank you.
Thank you, Nosa. We do have a few minutes left for Q&A. If anyone in the audience would like to ask Nosa a question, you can raise your hand and I'll come down with the microphone. Is there anyone that would like to ask a few questions? Hands up.
Hello, my name is Patricia Epps. I am an electrician with IBEW Local 134. I'm also a member of NABWIC, the National Association of Black Women in Construction. Your story is inspiring. I've heard of BOA. I know you guys are partners with for the casino out in
Homewood.
Homewood, yes. And I've met the gentleman who was representing you, but I have never had the chance or the opportunity to meet you. My question is, do you ever mentor people? I have the idea and not even sure exactly what I want to do. I've been encouraged to start a business as a Black female electrician. And I'm trying to find my niche in this huge construction industry. So what advice would you have, and do you offer mentorship?
Yes, we do. That's a great question, and thank you for asking that. Mentorship is vital, and the gentleman's name that you mentioned, project executive for us, is Lee Fantroy. And Lee is handling that project for us in Homewood. Yes, we do provide mentorship. And one of the things that we've done, for example, at O'Hare Airport, we're building the cargo facility right now. It's a 130,000 square foot cargo facility at the airport. And we have over 55% MBE, WBE participation, which has never been done before at the airport. We have to be intentional about those partnerships and mentorships. Because what happens is, as a general contractor, we get to select who the electrical subcontractors are. So what we've done is actually, we'll take an electrical package that might be $6 million, right? And we'll break out a portion of that, maybe $500,000 or $1 million to an African-American or a Hispanic-owned or women-owned firm, to give them an opportunity to participate on that project. You might purchase the switch gears and make the connection to the switch gears, right? You might do the low voltage work, right? It's being creative and figuring out how to intentionally break down packages so you have the greater impact. Because a lot of times we just don't have organizations and companies that provide those opportunities for us. You're right. It is intimidating. You get a drawing, and the drawing, it's literally, you do your pricing, and it's $8 million of work. You've never done $1 million of work. You don't have the same relationships with the suppliers that the bigger firms have, right? So absolutely, I have some folks from my team here. We can get your card and we can connect you, especially as an electrical contractor, we can connect you with some other majority firms that we do business with and some of the smaller firms that have been in business that can partner with you and provide mentorship. And we can help you trying to navigate that as well. Because general contractors, and as construction managers, we select who we want to do business with. So it's not that damn hard, right? So it's just, it doesn't cost more, diversity doesn't cost more, it's not more expensive, it's not more time, it's just wanting to do what's right and wanting to knock down barriers that have existed. And if you want to do that, then you can do it. If you don't, you don't.
We got time for one or two more questions.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Kenneth Orr, and I am a African-American owned and operated insurance producer, and I work with different companies, and what we do is we provide insurance products and services to the public. And my challenge has been trying to connect what I do with general contractors and having a way in where we could even offer our products and services. One of the biggest things that we do is actually we provide health insurance benefits, We do 401k setup and retirement planning and distribution, things of that nature. So we do health, dental, vision, and I'm looking for a way that I can connect what we do with companies, and I have not been able to figure that piece out. I've been in the industry for about 17 years, but my dream is to provide services to general contractors because we have the products, we just need the opportunity. Thank you.
And that's, thank you, it's Kenneth, right? So when I guess you're selling insurance products, and I think for businesses like ours and many others in the city, attending events like this, for one, is great, right? Because I'll tell you, that space is very, just like most other part of our business, it's relationship driven, right? So spending the time to get part of AGC, get engaged with Hire 360, meeting, they have different events and galas and outings where you just got to get out. You just got to get out because you're in a space where companies have been with an insurance broker, for example, for like 20 years, right? They've been with the same guy for 15 years or 10 years, right? So it's figuring out how you can break some of those relationships by creating your own, but then also figuring out how you might be able to partner with an existing insurance broker and agent and find your way in, right? Someone that might be nearing retirement, for example. It's being strategic and figuring out how I might not get the entire pie, but maybe I can get 25% of that pie and help you manage that prime contractor's business. Just ideas like that. It is tough though, because in our business, you deal with the same people for so long, and our disadvantage as African Americans is we don't have a lot of those relationships. So we got to get out into these environments and get into the space. We can connect afterwards, and I can kind of introduce you to some folks and be a part of AGC and other organizations that'll give you some exposure, because that's all you really need is exposure, and you create those opportunities.
We have time for one final question.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Hidalgo, and I actually am the vice president for Siegel, which is an HR consulting firm that supports a legacy of history, 83 years, for the multi-employer and trades and unions. I'm also the Chicago lead for the National Association of Black Women in Construction. You mentioned a little bit earlier about the importance of hiring the right people. And I'd like for you to expand on that a little bit more and talk about the importance of why we need to expand our diverse look into including Black women and encouraging them and engaging them to stay within this industry, especially since this industry is experiencing such a huge workforce shortage.
That is a great question. And I can, so for example, my leadership team, it's about 50% women. And diversity and inclusion in hiring women, African Americans, Hispanics, I'm gonna tell you guys, it's good for business. It creates a different dynamic. And you get some sisters in the conference room, and we have a challenge to overcome. They're not running and hiding, right? And I mean that. They're pushing us, right? And I got one at home too. But it's a focus that you have to have, and understanding the benefit and how it really brings different perspectives and ideas to your business that all men in the room just can't come up with. And because we you know, nothing against men or anything, but we're great at what we do, but it's just having that diversity, and I see it in my own business. And people ask me why we've been so successful. That's one of our key ingredients. And when we're recruiting and we're doing interviews, we're looking for that because it brings tremendous value, right? The days of just, look, I'm gonna say it, all white guys in the room, that doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's not what our city doesn't look like that, right? And frankly, there's some clients that you're gonna go chase their business. They don't wanna see me. They might not wanna see me. They wanna see Linda. They wanna see Tiffany. And that's okay. Empower them to do that. Promote women and give them opportunities to grow, because I'm telling y'all, it's good for business. It's been great for mine. So yes, we're intentional about it. It brings tremendous value, and it affects the bottom line in a very good way too. So it's another key factor of that. But great question.